Those words from Machiavelli pierce through time and strike at the foundation of confidence. Confidence is not a casual mood or a fleeting feeling. It is sovereignty. You either sit upon the throne of your mind, or you are chained in the dungeon of self-doubt. Most men betray themselves before any rival lifts a sword. The first betrayal happens in silence, when hesitation takes the crown from their head. They pause too long before speaking, shrink in posture, or surrender their decision to the comfort of waiting. You know this enemy well. It is the weakness that whispers in ordinary exchanges. In a meeting, you hesitate to speak, and another voice dominates the room. At a table, you avoid eye contact, and authority passes to the man who does not flinch. On the street, you carry yourself as if apologizing for space, and strangers see prey instead of presence. This is how hesitation kills without a blade. It erodes your throne until you are a king in name only, a ruler whose crown is made of paper. The enemy wears many faces: fear of judgment, comfort that softens discipline, or the quiet self-betrayal of doubting your own worth. These forces do not storm the gates. They whisper. They invite you to shrink, to yield, to step back. When you obey, you abdicate the throne willingly. Machiavelli warned that fortune favors the bold, not the cautious. A man who waits for permission is already conquered. The path is brutal in its clarity. Command your body before you command others. Shoulders straight, voice steady, gaze firm. Weak. I think maybe we should. Strong. Here is the decision. Weak. Sorry to bother you. Strong. I have something important. Do not beg for ground, occupy it. When challenged, remain calm. A man may disagree, raise his tone, even attempt to undermine you. Do not match noise with noise. Hold stillness like a sword at rest. Speak firmly once, then stop. The room will bend toward the man who does not tremble. Confidence is not won in grand victories, but in these decisive moments where hesitation dies. The enemy is inside the gate, waiting for your surrender. Crush it. Seize the throne. Rule yourself first, or you will never rule at all. Sit upon your throne, or live forever in chains. Confidence is sovereignty. The mind is your kingdom, and if you do not rule it, no outward act of power will stand. Every man who fails at confidence fails first in this inner throne room. The sovereign seat is clarity, discipline, and command of thought. History shows that rulers who did not master themselves fell quickly, regardless of armies or wealth. Machiavelli warned that fortune favors those who act with resolve, and hesitation destroys princes more surely than open enemies. In the same way, when your mind is unsettled, every gesture, word, and decision you make carries the tremor of weakness. People sense it. Authority leaks out of you because the throne is empty. The collapse of pretenders is visible everywhere. You can watch a man in a room stumble through sentences, second-guess himself, and apologize for speaking. His body gives him away before his words are finished. He becomes a puppet on his own stage, strings pulled by doubt and insecurity. The audience does not respect him because he does not respect himself. This collapse is not about talent or intelligence, but about the absence of inner rule. A man who cannot sit firmly in his own mind asks others to crown him, and the world rarely obliges. You cannot fake the sovereign's presence. Confidence radiates from the way your thoughts are ordered before your mouth opens. When your mind is fragmented, your speech is scattered. When your mind is calm, your words strike like arrows. Weak. I'm not sure, but maybe we could try. Strong. This is the direction. Weak. Does that make sense? Strong. Here is the plan. The difference is not arrogance. It is clear. People follow clarity because it feels like stability in a world of noise. Even in conflict, the sovereign mind holds its ground. Imagine someone challenges your idea in a meeting with sarcasm or dismissal. The insecure man flares with emotion or collapses into silence. The sovereign does neither. He pauses, looks directly, and answers with a steady voice. Your concern is noted. The decision remains. That single act demonstrates mastery. Others see not aggression but command. Your task is ruthless but simple. Rule the seat of thought. Refuse to let hesitation pull the crown from your head. Command posture. Command language. Command inner dialogue. Cut off every apology that weakens your frame. Replace it with directness, certainty, and stillness. This discipline builds a mind so clear it projects dominance without effort. In every battle of confidence, sovereignty begins and ends within. Rule your mind or be ruled by it. Most men lose this war without realizing it. They betray themselves in the quietest of ways. The alarm rings, and instead of rising with command, they roll back into sleep. The snooze button is a velvet chain. The bed becomes a dungeon disguised as comfort. That single choice sends a signal to the mind: delay, avoid, retreat. Once you allow hesitation to win in the opening clash, it spreads like cracks through every later decision. Distractions then march in. Notifications glowing, endless scrolling, noise that fractures, focus before discipline has a chance to form. The throne of the mind is left unguarded, and weakness occupies it. You must treat the morning as an armed march. Think of it as rallying your troops at first light. Posture, breath, and clarity of purpose are your armor. Your ritual is not luxury. It is preparation for war. Rise decisively when the alarm strikes. Stand upright and claim space. Command your body with action before doubt finds its weapon. Each step, from washing your face to preparing your environment, should be deliberate, as though setting troops in formation. Do not linger. Do not yield ground. Weak. Just 5 more minutes. Strong. Now. Weak. I'll get to it later. Strong. It begins now. These words are not casual choices, they are battle orders. What you tell yourself at dawn shapes whether you move like a commander or stumble like a captive. By enforcing discipline in the first hour, you engrave authority into your mind. That authority radiates into speech, posture, and decisions for the rest of the day. Confidence is not built in the grand speeches or public moments people imagine. It is forged in the private hour, when no one is watching. Win there, and you walk into the world already victorious. Lose there, and you carry defeat into every room. Treat the morning as your battlefield. Rise like a warrior, and march into the day under your own banner. Conquer the morning, and you conquer yourself. Confidence is not loud, it still is. The greatest rulers of Rome carried themselves with gravitas, a weight of calm presence that silenced rooms more effectively than shouting ever could. Commanders who stood firm in crisis projected stability to their soldiers. The legion did not look to the man who panicked, but to the one who remained composed while the storm raged. That composure was not passivity, it was control, a weapon forged through discipline. The man who controls his stillness controls the tempo of battle. In the modern world, the same principle holds. Meetings erupt in noise, debates spiral into chaos, and social circles test each other through posturing. In that storm, most men try to prove themselves by adding volume. They talk over others, rush their words, or scramble for attention. Yet the man who holds stillness becomes the pillar. He listens without fidgeting, speaks only when needed, and answers without haste. His calm draws others to him. because it signals control. People lean towards stability, the way soldiers rally to a standard in battle. In every environment, from offices to negotiations, the man who does not flinch under pressure becomes the one others trust. Stillness is not weakness. It is the crouch of the predator before the strike. The lion does not waste energy pacing or roaring without purpose. It waits. I study. Then it moves once, and the movement is final. You must adopt the same discipline. Do not rush to respond. Do not let emotion drag you into the noise. When challenged, hold the pause. Look directly, breathe evenly, and let silence carry weight. That pause unsettles the insecure while signaling that you are unmoved. Weak. Wait. Let me explain. Strong. Here is what stands. Weak. I think we should maybe. Strong. This is the course. Each word carries more weight because it is not spilled in haste. Authority is not the man who speaks the most, but the man whose words feel sharpened by patience. Imagine a colleague publicly questioning your decision. An insecure man reacts defensively, voice rising, words tumbling. A sovereign mind remains still. You look at him, nod once, and answer in a measured tone. Your point is noted. The direction continues. The challenge dissolves, not because of force, but because calm authority cannot be rattled. Others see it and align with it. Train yourself to wield stillness as a weapon. Practice silence before speech. Command your body to remain composed when tension rises. Breathe slowly when provoked. Speak deliberately when clarity matters, like the Roman general or the crouched predator. Project control not by noise, but by presence. Confidence is not proven in frantic action, but in calm dominion. Stillness is strength sharpened into power. Confidence is not built only by what you add, but by what you cut away. Sovereignty requires ruthless elimination. History shows that princes who survived did so by removing threats without hesitation. Machiavelli noted that a ruler must not shrink from necessary cruelty when his power is at risk. Weakness in judgment allowed enemies to gather, but swift elimination preserved the throne. The lesson is not about violence, but about clarity. Confidence cannot coexist with influences that corrode authority. You must apply the same principle to your life. Every man carries weak links, and these links undo him. Toxic circles erode strength. Friends who mock discipline or encourage indulgence slowly break down your throne. Habits of distraction, procrastination, or indulgence sap confidence until you appear hollow to yourself and to others. The collapse does not happen in one dramatic fall. It happens in daily concessions, in tolerating softness and calling it harmless. Yet each moment of softness is a dagger hidden in your own cloak. The path forward demands an executioner within. You must summon the inner assassin who cuts without hesitation. Remove the habits that weaken you. Eliminate circles that drain you. Destroy excuses before they gather power. This is not cruelty, but discipline. Every sovereign must protect his realm. The throne of your mind is no different. Weak. I'll stop later. Strong. It ends now. Weak. It's not that bad. Strong. It has no place here. By drawing sharp lines, you establish a rule. Confidence grows in the clarity of boundaries. This ruthlessness will test you most when others resist. Imagine a friend who ridicules your decision to stop wasting time on distractions. He insists you are being extreme, that you should relax. Do not flare in anger or argue endlessly. Simply answer with calm leadership, "I no longer allow this in my life." Then remain firm. No defense, no apology. That composure shows more strength than debate, and it sets a standard others cannot shake. The sovereign who hesitates to purge weakness loses the kingdom. The man who tolerates what drains him cannot stand with presence. Confidence requires that you act as executioner daily. Cut away weakness before it spreads. Remove influences that do not serve your sovereignty. End excuses with finality. Rule is preserved, not by what you tolerate, but by what you refuse to allow. Machiavelli observed that men judge more by what they see than by what they feel. Appearances shape power more than truth, and the ruler who fails to grasp this loses authority. Confidence, therefore, is not only inner strength, but also the mask you present to the world. The storm inside you may rage, but if the mask shows composure, others will treat you as composed. This is not deception in the weak sense, it is command. The sovereign understands that perception builds reality. Modern leadership proves this daily. Rooms are commanded not by the one with the most facts, but by the one who carries himself with authority. Posture upright, voice steady, eyes anchored. These elements declare confidence before words are spoken. A leader who fidgets, slouches, or fills silence with nervous chatter erodes his presence no matter his knowledge. Weak. Maybe we could try strong. This is the direction. Weak. Sorry to interrupt. Strong. I need a moment of your attention. Language, tone, and bearing are weapons. Use them with precision. The mask of command requires practice. At first it may feel artificial, as though you are putting on armor heavier than you can carry. But like armor, it strengthens you through use. Over time, the mask fuses with the face. The man who rehearses calm under stress becomes calm. The one who trains his voice into steady cadence gains natural authority. The mask carried long enough becomes the identity, and identity becomes presence. Consider a moment of disagreement. In a meeting, someone challenges your point with sarcasm. The insecure man defends himself too quickly, words spilling out with rising pitch. The sovereign wears the mask. He waits a beat, meets the gaze, and replies with composure, "Your perspective is noted. We will proceed." The exchange ends because the mask of control does not crack. Others witness this and align with the steadiness that commands without force. Do not mistake this discipline for pretending to be what you are not. It is the deliberate choice to lead with strength while your inner self matures into it. Every sovereign must project stability even when storms rage in private. Without that projection, confidence collapses in the eyes of others. Authority exists only when it is recognized, and recognition depends on how you are perceived. Command posture. Command tone. Command the mask until it fuses with your reality. Confidence is not proven by showing every weakness. It is proven by holding the mask of sovereignty until sovereignty becomes natural. Wear the mask until the mask becomes the man. Confidence is won only when you kill hesitation before it takes form. Caesar marched across the Rubicon, not because the path was safe, but because he refused to let doubt paralyze him. Leaders who carried history forward crushed inner hesitation long before they faced outer enemies. They understood that the deadliest assassin is not across the battlefield, but inside the mind. If you cannot eliminate that traitor, no external victory will matter. You know the voice well. It whispers excuses that sound reasonable, but bleed you of power. You're tired, do it tomorrow. It's not the right moment. You're not ready yet. Every rationalization is a dagger slid quietly between your ribs. Excuses weaken posture, dull tone, and hollow presence. A man ruled by excuses is a man already conquered. Weak, I'll try when I feel confident. Strong, I act now, confidence will follow. Weak, I don't want to fail. Strong, I cannot afford not to act. Each choice is a cut that either severs weakness or feeds it. The inner assassin must be silent and swift. Do not negotiate with doubt. Do not let hesitation gather strength. When the voice of excuse appears, strike it down at once. Replace it with immediate command. Stand up when you want to linger. Speak when you want to shrink. Decide when you want to stall. This discipline sharpens like a blade. The more you wield it, the more instinctive it becomes. Soon hesitation no longer enters the throne room because it knows it will not survive. Imagine someone challenges your decision publicly, suggesting you are unprepared. The insecure man stalls, fumbles, and weakens his stance. The man who has trained his inner assassin does not. He answers with calm precision. The course is set. We move forward. No apology, no defense. The strike is silent but final. Doubt has no foothold because the inner traitor was already executed. Confidence grows not in comfort, but in execution. You must act as the assassin daily, cutting away softness and killing excuses before they breed. Leave no room for self-sabotage. Guard your throne by ensuring weakness cannot live within the walls. The man who waits for permission will never rule. The man who eliminates hesitation at its root carries himself with inevitability. Slay doubt before it speaks. Inside every man lives a battle between two wolves. One is strong, disciplined, and relentless. The other is weak, hesitant, and afraid. The outcome is not chance. It is decided by which wolf you feed. This truth has been carried in parables for centuries, and it mirrors Machiavelli's principle that fortune favors the bold who act, not the timid who wait. Confidence grows or withers, depending on which appetite you choose to satisfy. Daily choices are the meat that sustains one wolf or the other. When you rise with discipline, hold your posture, and speak with clarity, you throw meat to the strong wolf. When you delay, apologize unnecessarily, or drown in distractions, you feed the weak one. These choices may appear small, but they accumulate into presence or collapse. Weak, I'll do it tomorrow. Strong, it begins now. Weak, sorry, I didn't mean to take up space. Strong, I have the floor. Over time, the wolf you starve shrinks to nothing, and the wolf you feed dominates. Modern life constantly tempts you to feed weakness. Comfort is packaged into every screen, every indulgence, every excuse to withdraw from the fight. Confidence erodes when you let the weak wolf feast. You must resist by reinforcing the strong one. Train your body with action when your mind hesitates. Eliminate habits that drain you. Align yourself with people who sharpen you instead of soften you. Each decision to choose strength is a morsel of meat cast into the jaws of the predator within. The hunger of power is not satisfied by scraps. The strong wolf must be fed with ambition until it devours hesitation. This does not mean recklessness. It means directing your drive toward the throne you seek. Move with purpose in your work, your speech, and your posture. Ambition without action is starvation. Ambition with steady feeding becomes dominance. Like a predator that grows sharper with each hunt, your confidence grows stronger with each choice to feed clarity, discipline, and resolve. Imagine someone doubts your ability to lead a project, offering a patronizing suggestion that you step aside. The weak wolf inside you wants to yield or explain endlessly. The strong wolf demands composure. You answer with a steady tone. I will lead this forward. Nothing more, nothing less. That decision feeds power and starves doubt. Over time, others learn that you do not yield, because the wolf you choose to feed does not allow it. Confidence is not a mystery. It is the accumulation of choices, each one feeding either strength or weakness. Discipline your feeding. Refuse to give meat to hesitation. Nourish the predator within until it grows undeniable. Presence is the visible form of the wolf you have chosen to starve or to feed. Feed the strong wolf and let the weak one die. Confidence is strategy. Life places you on a chessboard where every move signals strength or weakness. Princes who endured did so by foresight, not by reacting blindly. Machiavelli noted that rulers who relied on fortune alone were soon ruined, but those who prepared for shifts of power maintained control. The same truth applies to confidence. You cannot stumble across presence. You must move with intention, as a king directs the board rather than being tossed like a pawn. Every interaction is a move. When you hesitate in speech, you lose a piece. When you avoid eye contact, you give up position. When you apologize unnecessarily, you sacrifice your queen. The opponent may not even notice consciously, but the board changes, presence shrinks, and influence is captured. Conversely, when you speak clearly, hold stillness, or make a firm decision, you advance your position. Weak, I think maybe this works. Strong, this is the direction. Weak, I'm sorry for bringing it up. Strong, here's what matters. The difference is not arrogance, it is strategy. Each choice signals whether you control the board or wait to be removed from it. The man who treats life as chess develops poise like a grandmaster. He does not rush to move. He studies the board, anticipates, and chooses deliberately. Confidence is not noise or speed. It is the steady hand of strategy. Just as a grandmaster wins by positioning long before the final checkmate, you build confidence by aligning habits, posture, and decisions in advance. People recognize this calm foresight. They trust the man who is not rattled into reaction but who acts as though he expected the challenge all along. Imagine a colleague questions your decision with open doubt. The insecure man scrambles, over-explains, or retracts. The strategist holds composure, considers, and replies firmly. The course remains. That single phrase is not loud, but it signals certainty. The board shifts in your favor because others see that you move with intent, not impulse. This is how confidence appears untouchable, through measured moves that accumulate into presence. Command your board. See every word and gesture as part of your position. Refuse to play like a pawn. Advance like a king who knows that one deliberate move carries more force than 10 frantic ones. Strategy is confidence in motion, and confidence is strategy embodied. Move like a king, never like a pawn. Confidence is not an accident, it is forged. Like iron shaped in fire, it demands ritual, repetition, and heat. Ancient schools of Stoicism trained men to master fear by facing it daily. They practiced voluntary hardship, endured cold, hunger, and silence to prove that comfort was never their ruler. By disciplining themselves in controlled trials, they built a will that did not break under real storms. This principle still stands. Ritual hardens a man into something unshakable. Without ritual, will remains soft, and confidence dissolves when tested. Modern life offers endless ease, but ease dulls the blade. Every habit and environment either sharpens or corrodes your iron. If your mornings begin with scrolling through distractions, you allow rust to eat at your strength. If your evenings collapse into chaos, you invite weakness to settle in. By contrast, structured habits, waking at a set hour, training your body, reading with focus, setting clear priorities, become anchors. These anchors stabilize you when pressure rises. Weak, I'll try to get to it. Strong, it is scheduled and done. Weak, I'll see how I feel. Strong, I act regardless of feeling. Rituals command the body and the mind until they obey without hesitation. Think of your life as a forge. Each day is a chance to temper your will in controlled flames. Rising on time is the hammer. Training is the fire. Silence before speech is the cooling water that hardens steel. You must treat these rituals not as chores but as weapons maintenance. A warrior who neglects his blade finds it dull in battle. A man who neglects his rituals finds his will crumbling in conflict. The forge is daily, not occasional. The iron must be kept hot and struck again and again until it holds. Picture a challenge. Someone doubts your ability to follow through because you once failed to deliver. An undisciplined man becomes defensive, explaining and promising. A man forged by ritual answers calmly, "Watch what I do now." He needs no defense because his habits speak for him. His iron will is visible in the consistency of his actions. Doubt fades not through words, but through relentless proof. Command your rituals. Build anchors that strengthen, not habits that erode. Train your will by fire until it does not bend under pressure. Every day you either strike iron or let it rust. Every day you either step into the forge or step back into weakness. Confidence is the visible glow of iron that has been tested, hammered, and hardened. The highest form of confidence is untouchability. History shows that figures who held true sovereignty could not be broken by insult, betrayal, or shifting fortune. Machiavelli observed that fortune strikes hardest at those who are unprepared. But rulers who built fortresses of discipline and presence endured storms that destroyed lesser men. Their power rested not only in armies or wealth, but in the aura of being unshaken. To be untouchable is to sit on a throne no enemy can approach. In modern life, untouchability is not about crowns or palaces. It is about presence so steady that gossip, trends, and criticism pass like arrows striking stone. Most men are fragile to opinion. They react to every whisper, adjust to every fashion, and collapse when others disapprove. That fragility reveals dependence. The untouchable man moves through noise without slowing. He does not chase approval because his foundation is not built on it. Weak. Do you think this is okay? Strong. This is what I stand by. Weak. I hope they like me. Strong. I am aligned with my principles. The shift is subtle but decisive. Becoming untouchable demands constructing a fortress of mind. Imagine your confidence as a citadel built from stone. Each disciplined act lays a block. Each boundary defended adds another wall. Over time, the fortress rises so high that insults thrown against it cannot reach. The man who builds this inner citadel is not arrogant. He is simply immovable. He can be criticized without trembling, doubted without retreating, opposed without collapsing. This is sovereignty so complete that no weapon penetrates. Picture a situation where someone mocks your decision publicly, expecting you to flinch. The fragile man defends himself nervously, handing power to the critic. The untouchable man answers with calm. Your view is noted. The course remains. No heat, no apology. The mockery dies because it cannot breach the stone walls of composure. Others see not only the decision, but the unshaken throne behind it. Presence hardens into command. You must build this fortress deliberately. Do not allow gossip to dictate your moves. Refuse to let every insult pull you from your seat. Create habits that reinforce self-respect until they form armor. Withdraw from the trap of chasing approval. Strengthen your throne daily until it stands like stone. Untouchability is not about never being attacked. It is about being immune to the attack's effect. Confidence at its peak is sovereignty beyond reach. You are not carried by fortune's winds, nor are you shaken by enemies at the gate. You rule your mind so completely that the world cannot dethrone you. Be the stone throne no enemy can move. It is better to be feared than loved. If you cannot be both. With this, Machiavelli revealed the hard truth of sovereignty. Strength sustains rule where affection alone fails. Confidence, at its highest form, is the sovereignty of presence. It is the throne fortified by discipline, stillness, elimination, the mask, the wolf, the ritual, and the fortress of mind. Each principle you have built is now no longer separate. They converge into a single arsenal. Sovereign confidence is the final form, and the man who achieves it becomes untouchable. The synthesis begins with the throne of the mind. Without that throne, nothing else stands. By mastering hesitation, commanding clarity, and eliminating softness, you forged the seat of rule within. Then came the battlefield of mornings, where victory or defeat was decided before the world saw you. By rising with decisiveness, you trained yourself to seize momentum, not surrender it. Stillness became your sword, sharp because it was silent. You learned that composure unsettles chaos, and that patience is the crouch of predators before the strike. You summoned the executioner within, cutting away excuses, eliminating weakness before it could gather strength. The wolf parable revealed that confidence grows only when you feed the strong instincts, not the timid ones. You moved through life as a strategist, like a king on a chessboard, recognizing that each word, each gesture, each silence was a deliberate move. Through ritual, you tempered your will in the forge of repetition until it became unbreakable. Finally, you erected the stone throne, a fortress of mind so high that insult, gossip, and betrayal could not touch it. Now, all converge into the sovereign self. This arsenal is not theory. It is practical mastery. In modern rooms of noise and doubt, men lose presence because they lack structure. They arrive disorganized, speak reactively, and chase validation. You are no longer that man. You enter with posture that signals rule. You sit in silence until you choose to speak. You feed strength with every choice, starve hesitation until it withers. You move strategically, not impulsively. You answer challenges with calm precision. Your rituals reinforce you daily. Your throne stands unshaken. This synthesis is sovereign confidence. The Predator King emerges from this discipline. He does not roar to prove strength. He exerts authority by presence alone. He is calm, yet ruthless when required. He is strategic, calculating moves ahead, not reacting to every provocation. He commands without apology. He is feared, not because he harms, but because he cannot be moved. He is respected because he embodies stability others crave. This is the archetype you forge when every weapon of mastery combines. The stakes of this transformation could not be higher. Failure leaves you exiled into irrelevance. The man who fails at confidence is prey to stronger wills, erased by history, dismissed by peers, bypassed in opportunity. He becomes a shadow who watches others command what he surrendered. Mastery, on the other hand, delivers sovereignty. The man who rules himself commands environments without force. He attracts respect without asking. He influences outcomes without pleading. He becomes untouchable, not by arrogance, but by the unshaken fortress he has built within. Consider a moment of open confrontation. In a meeting, someone mocks your position, expecting laughter to erode your authority. A lesser man would flush, stumble, and defend. The sovereign does not. He pauses, lets silence weigh heavy, and replies with composure. We proceed as planned. The words are few, the tone calm, but the effect is final. The challenger falters because the throne behind the words is visible. Others shift toward you because people align with a presence that does not tremble. This is sovereign confidence enacted, not spoken about. Weak. I think this might work. Strong. This will work. Weak. I hope this is okay. Strong. This is the course. Weak. Sorry for bringing this up. Strong. Here's what matters. These are not cosmetic swaps. They are shifts in identity. They are the moves of a king, not the stumbles of a pawn. Understand the truth. The world bends to the sovereign, not because he begs, not because he conforms, but because he rules himself so completely that others cannot help but recognize it. The sovereign man is feared for his composure, respected for his clarity, and untouchable because no storm shakes him. This is the final form. This is the throne you were meant to claim. Be sovereign, be feared, be untouchable. The cost of failure is steep. Hesitation makes you forgettable, a shadow in rooms where presence is needed. Excuses weaken your posture until you disappear from influence. You may work hard, think deeply, or even carry talent, but without confidence, those assets remain invisible. You will be overlooked, dismissed, and replaced by the man who carries himself with command. The battlefield of life does not wait for those who stall. It rewards the one who moves forward with composure and conviction. The reward of mastery, however, is sovereignty. The confident man does not chase approval. He commands respect through stillness, clarity, and decisive action. He enters spaces and authority shifts subtly toward him. Gossip cannot shake him. Insults do not reach him. He is untouchable because his throne is fortified by discipline and self-rule. Modern life is filled with noise, but people instinctively turn toward the one who does not tremble. Confidence becomes presence, and presence becomes power. Weak. I hope this is okay. Strong. This is my decision. Weak. Maybe it could work. Strong. It will work. These are not phrases alone. They are shifts of identity. Speak with command and the world adjusts. Act with resolve and doors open. Carry yourself like a sovereign and you are treated as one. Now the call to action is clear. Do not wait for permission. Do not negotiate with hesitation. Rule your mornings, discipline your rituals, wield stillness, and feed the strong wolf within. Strike excuses before they take root. Construct the fortress of mind that no insult or betrayal can touch. Confidence is not found, it is built, weaponized, and wielded. The throne is empty until you claim it. Rule your mind, wield your presence, strike with confidence. The throne is yours.